Sophia had always believed in love. When she met Daniel, he seemed like the perfect man, charming, kind, and full of dreams. He had a warm smile and a way with words that made her feel special. They fell in love quickly, and soon they were married. Their wedding was simple but filled with laughter and hope for the future. The first few years were beautiful. They had two children, Emma and Lucas, and Sophia felt truly happy. Daniel worked hard, and even though they didn't have much money, they had each other. He would come home every evening, kiss her on the forehead, and play with the kids. But slowly, things began to change. At first, it was just small things. Daniel would come home later than usual, smelling of alcohol. Then he started spending money on gambling. Sophia noticed the missing money from their savings, but tried to believe it was just a phase. He's just stressed, she told herself. However, the phase never ended. Daniel stopped working. He would sit at home all day, drinking and making excuses. When Sophia asked him to find a job, he got angry. "Do you think I like being like this?" he shouted. "I'll fix everything. Just give me time." Time passed, but nothing changed. Instead, things got worse. He became cruel, yelling at her over small things. Some nights he would come home drunk and throw things. The man she had once loved was gone. Sophia's heart broke, not for herself, but for her children. They were afraid of their own father. Little Emma would hide behind her mother when he raised his voice. Lucas, who once admired his father, no longer wanted to be near him. She wanted to leave. Every night she lay awake, thinking about it. But then she thought about the children. Would they be okay without a father? Her relatives told her to be patient. "He will change," they said. "You have a family. Stay strong." So she stayed. She tried everything. Talking to him, asking him to go to therapy, even hiding money so he wouldn't spend it on drinking or gambling. But Daniel didn't want to change. He continued living the way he wanted, expecting Sophia to take care of everything. One night, after he had lost all their money in a gambling hall, he came home furious. He threw his glass against the wall and screamed at her. The children woke up crying. That was the moment Sophia knew nothing would ever change. The next morning, while Daniel was still sleeping, she packed a small bag. She took only what she and the children needed. With shaking hands, she held Emma and Lucas close. "We're leaving," she whispered. Daniel woke up as she was stepping out the door. "Where do you think you're going?" he shouted. Sophia turned to face him, her heart pounding. "I'm done, Daniel. I'm taking the kids and we're leaving." He laughed coldly. "You always say that, but you never leave." This time she did. She walked out, holding her children's hands tightly. She didn't know where they would go yet, but one thing was certain: she was never coming back. Sophia didn't look back. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she held her children's hands tightly as they walked down the street. She had no clear plan, just a small bag with their essentials and the determination to never return to that house. She had already thought about where to go. Her aunt, Maria, had always told her, "If you ever need a place, my door is open." Maria lived in another town, far enough that Daniel wouldn't come looking for her immediately. She took the children to the bus station. "Where are we going, Mommy?" Emma asked, rubbing her sleepy eyes. "To a safe place, my love," Sophia said, kissing her forehead. When they arrived at Maria's house, her aunt opened the door with a shocked expression. But as soon as she saw Sophia's face, the dark circles under her eyes, the sadness, the fear, she pulled her into a hug. "You did the right thing," Maria whispered. That night, Sophia lay in bed with her children, listening to their soft breathing. For the first time in years, she felt safe. But she knew this was just the beginning. The next few weeks were difficult. Daniel called her over and over, leaving angry voicemails. "You think you can just leave me?" He shouted in one message. "You'll come crawling back." She blocked his number. She knew his anger would turn into fake apologies next. But she wasn't going to listen. She found a small job at a local bakery, working in the mornings while Maria watched the kids. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Emma and Lucas slowly started smiling again. Lucas, who had become so quiet in the last year, laughed for the first time in weeks when Maria made silly faces at the dinner table. Sophia's heart swelled with hope. One day, while walking home from work, she saw Daniel waiting outside Maria's house. Her body froze, fear gripping her chest. He approached her, his face a mix of anger and desperation. "Come home, Sophia," he said. "We can fix this." She shook her head. No, Daniel, it's too late. His expression darkened. You're nothing without me, he spat. You'll never make it on your own. Sophia took a deep breath. The old her would have believed him, but not anymore. She looked him straight in the eye and said, "Watch me." She walked past him, went inside, and locked the door. Months passed, and Sophia built a new life. She found a better job, rented a small apartment, and enrolled the kids in a good school. She even started taking evening classes, dreaming of a future where she could provide everything her children needed. Daniel tried to contact her a few more times, but she never responded. He was no longer part of her life. One evening, as she tucked her children into bed, Lucas looked up at her and said, "Mommy, you're so strong." Tears filled her eyes, but this time, they weren't from sadness. "We're all strong, my love," she whispered, and for the first time in a long time, she truly believed it. She had escaped, she had survived, and now she was free.